In 1865, Black Jamaicans walked to the courthouse to ask for justice. Britain hanged them from a warship. Not metaphorically, not symbolically. They tied a rope around a man's neck and hanged him from the yardarm of a Royal Navy vessel anchored in Morant Bay harbor, in full view of the town, so everyone could see what asking for justice cost. And the politician who had spoken up for them in Parliament, who had not even been present at the rebellion, was dragged from his sick bed, tried in a military court with no lawyer, and executed outside the same courthouse he had spent his career trying to reform. 400 people killed, 600 flogged, 1,000 homes burned, because they asked for land, because they asked for food, because they asked to be treated as human beings 27 years after Britain told them they were free. To understand Morant Bay, you have to understand what British freedom actually looked like in Jamaica in 1865. Slavery had been abolished in 1838, but the land remained in the hands of the planters. The wages paid to formerly enslaved workers were so low that entire families survived on the edge of starvation. When Black Jamaicans went to the colonial courts to resolve land disputes, the courts ruled against them. When they petitioned the governor for support, he sent back a letter telling them their problems were their own fault and they should work harder. The governor's name was Edward John Eyre, and his letter, read aloud to thousands of Jamaican workers at a public meeting, was the moment the situation became irreversible. Bogle was a deacon in the native Baptist church in the parish of St. Thomas. He had walked to Spanish Town, 60 miles on foot, to personally petition the governor. He was turned away. He organized his community. On October 11, 1865, Bogle led a march of several hundred Black Jamaicans to the Morant Bay courthouse to present their grievances to the magistrates. The colonial militia opened fire on the crowd. In the chaos that followed, the courthouse was burned. Several militia members and magistrates were killed. And Governor Edward John Eyre, sitting in Spanish Town, made a decision that historians have debated ever since. He did not investigate. He did not negotiate. He declared martial law across the entire parish of St. Thomas. And he sent the troops. What followed was not a military operation. It was a terror campaign. British soldiers and maroon trackers moved through the parish for 6 weeks. Villages were burned. Men were flogged in public, some receiving up to 50 lashes. Summary military courts condemned men to death after trials that lasted minutes. No lawyers, no jury, no appeal. Bogle was captured in the hills by maroon trackers. He was brought back to Morant Bay and hanged from the yardarm of HMS Wolverine, a Royal Navy warship anchored in the harbor. George William Gordon, the mixed-race elected assemblyman who had spent years speaking in Parliament on behalf of poor Black Jamaicans, was arrested in Kingston, taken to Morant Bay to bring him under martial law jurisdiction and tried by a military court. The problem was that Gordon had not been at Morant Bay on October 11th. He had no direct role in the events. He was tried anyway, convicted in a military court, and hanged outside the courthouse he had fought to reform. By the time British forces stood down, 439 people had been executed. 600 had been flogged. Over 1,000 homes had been burned to ash. In Britain, the debate was fierce. John Stuart Mill formed the Jamaica Committee and demanded that Governor Eyre be prosecuted for murder. Charles Dickens, John Ruskin, and Thomas Carlyle publicly defended Eyre. They argued that the suppression was necessary, that Black Jamaicans had needed to be controlled, that Eyre was a hero. 3 attempts were made to prosecute Eyre in British courts. All 3 failed. Edward John Eyre was never convicted, never imprisoned, never fined. He died in 1901 at the age of 85. In his home, in Devon, with a government pension. Britain did not just kill 400 Jamaicans and burn 1,000 homes. It then used the Morant Bay Rebellion as justification to abolish what little self-governance Jamaica had. The Jamaican Assembly, which had existed since 1664, was dissolved. Jamaica was reclassified as a crown colony under direct British rule. The Jamaicans who had marched to Morant Bay asking for justice ended up with less political power than they had before they marched. Their country taken more completely. Their voice removed more permanently. For 80 more years. Bogle and George William Gordon were declared national heroes of Jamaica in 1969, 104 years after they were hanged. Bogle's face is on the Jamaican 50-cent coin. Gordon's face is on the Jamaican $10 note. Britain has never apologized for Morant Bay. Not one word. Not 1 pound of compensation. Not one acknowledgement that Governor Edward John Eyre ordered the judicial murder of an elected politician who had not committed a crime. The courthouse where Gordon was tried and outside which he was hanged is still standing in Morant Bay, still being used. We have now covered stories in this Massacre and Hidden History series. My Lai, where America killed 504 Vietnamese civilians at breakfast and gave the soldiers medals. The Zone, where a British court treated the murder of 132 enslaved Africans as a routine insurance dispute. Tulsa, where America bombed Black Wall Street and denied every insurance claim. Novichokosk, where the Soviet Union shot its own hungry workers and spent 30 years moving the bodies. And now Morant Bay, where Britain hanged a deacon from a warship for walking to a courthouse. 5 stories, 5 countries, 5 centuries, 1 pattern, and we are not finished. Next we are going to the Nanjing Massacre in China, the Baining Massacre in Papua New Guinea, the Comfort Women of Japan, the Oradour-sur-Glane Massacre in France, the Amritsar Massacre in India, the Katyn Forest in Poland, the Sand Creek Massacre in America, the Herero Genocide in Namibia, continent by continent, country by country, document by document. Every story verified by the records of those who ordered it. Not rumor, not opinion, their own files, their own court transcripts, their own classified cables used against them. Now, we have been naming names on this page. Governor Edward John Eyre ordered the execution of George William Gordon knowing he had no legal basis to do so. Captain Luke Collingwood ordered 132 people thrown into the ocean on the Zone. Lieutenant William Calley ordered the killing at My Lai. Do you want us to keep naming them? Every officer, every official, every politician who signed the order. Comment yes below if you are ready for that in every future video. And one more thing. We are building the Odd Archive into a global community, and we need country representatives. If you are passionate about hidden history, if you want to help share these stories in your country and your language, and if you want to be part of something that is changing how the world understands its own past, comment your country below or send us a DM. We are selecting Odd Archive country captains from different nations. People who will help carry these stories to the audiences that need them most. Drop your country below. Tell me which massacre or genocide you want us to cover next. And share this video right now, because the story of Morant Bay has been waiting 160 years to reach the audience it deserves. Find us on YouTube, search official The Odd Archive, and subscribe. Because what we are building here has never been done before, and we are just getting started.